Oh, shit. Alright, let's see. What do we want to talk about here? Alright. Oh, okay. Alright, talking about movement. I'm on controller, I'm on PS5, so it's like you can't do as much stuff, but really it doesn't matter too much. You're not the only really thing you can't do is the tap strafe. Alright, let's see. Um I'm on PS5 playing like straight up on console, so I'm not even on PC. Um, which does help in a couple ways. Actually, I won't go too much into it because I don't think it really matters. I think there's only a few like settings that should be ticked here. Um, I think the important one is just auto sprint. Set that to on. You literally always want to be sprinting, and you're not going to be jamming your movement stick, which will like destroy your controller. I've run through a controller in like a few months just because I had this off, and I was just jamming it, and the stick drift was terrible. Um, and then if you're playing Valk, have it on hold. That's easy enough. Let's see what else. I think that's it. Oh, I have this off because I think it's really annoying if you're in a fight and you run out of ammo and it switches the gun and you already like switch weapons. That's stupid. And then there's one about this taking damage closes deathbox or crafting menu. I prefer having it off if if your reaction time is fast enough because it's like I know when I'm getting shot even if I'm in like a death box or a crafting menu and I could just get out of it fast. I don't need the game to do it for me. You know, sometimes you want to like get a shield swap and this being on will kind of ruin that. So I leave it off. Um, the rest is kind of just like what you feel. I changed this to compact just to give more screen space. Um, in terms of controller button stuff, I use ALC. I won't go into it in this because it's not really the point. But for button layout, mine's all screwed up because I have a DualSense Edge. It has two paddles on the back. Um, but I could show. So like my left paddle on the back is for crouch, and that's on hold instead of toggle because then you could strafe faster and easier. You don't have to press it twice. And then my right paddle on the back is just for jumping. So I think that's the priority. If you have two paddles, do that. And then if you have four paddles on the back, I would say the others should be for like interact and reload and for swapping weapons. So you don't have to take, because the idea is basically you don't want to be taking your thumb off of like the aim stick. Having your thumb on the aim stick at all times is just better because you can react a lot faster. So that's that. But I think that's really it. It's not like too crazy. Nothing too crazy. Um, all right, let's see. So this guide will be just about some movement. And I'm not going to go too crazy because I'm not like the best at movement by any means. I'm playing straight up. I'm not even on PC. I'm on console, right? On controller, obviously. So my movement's nothing special, but just like a few things just to understand the basics of it. And before I get into that, I'm not going to go super deep into settings and controller bindings and all that. But just a couple settings, probably want to check to make sure these are on. They're very easy. Auto sprint, have that on. You're basically always sprinting. You don't need to jam your movement stick. Weapon auto cycle, I have this off because it's really annoying if you run out of ammo and you're in a fight or something and it automatically switches to your other gun, but you already hit the swap weapons button. So like double swaps, that made me very mad at one point, so I turned that off. Where's another one? Oh, taking damage closes death box. I turn this off. If you have like a fast enough reaction time, I recommend it off just because, let's say you're going for a shield swap or something in the middle of a fight, and you get shot, and it automatically closes it, and you can't get the swap off. Very annoying. So I turn that off. The only other thing I would say is crouch button, have that on hold. Because look, okay, on hold, this is one full button press. So a half button press to go down, and then let go, and you go back up. So you can strafe, and it's like nice. But if you have it on toggle, it's like one full press to go down and then one up, where it's like you have to be constantly hitting that. And if you don't have paddles on the back, it's even worse, because let's say you map crouch to R3 or something, like clicking the right stick, then you're just mashing that stick when you're trying to strafe and you're trying to aim with it. I don't know. But yeah, have it on hold. It might be a little weird at first, but I think it's a lot better. I won't go into ALC stuff, that doesn't really matter for this. But I think that's basically it. My button layout, I'm using a controller that has 2 paddles on the back. So my left paddle is for crouch and uncrouch because I have it on hold, and then my right is just for jumping. Because basically most of the game is just like running and jumping and sliding and stuff. You know, fights don't typically last too long, so having that here and being able to use these in a fight while having both thumbs on the sticks, I think it's helpful. If you have a 4 paddle controller, then I used to have one, and I would put like reload or interact on one of those paddles, and then I would put like weapon swap on another one too. Just like the whole idea is just like being able to keep your thumbs on the sticks as long as possible. Alright, but that's it. I won't waste any more time. Movement, easy stuff, you know, slide, jump, all that. But I'm not really going to go that slow. So when you slide, right, you have a long slide, and if I just keep spamming slide, like, you notice how it doesn't go as far, and I have to run a little bit, and then I could slide again, and it goes its normal distance. But if I keep trying to do it, you know, it's like my guy's tired. It's like slide fatigue. So usually, you can slide, and then you keep running. Just watch the hands is usually how I do it. So like 4 times the hands pop up, 4 or 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, like that was a little too. So it's between like 4 and 5 kind of cycles of running, and then you can do it again, because you don't want to be caught out and be like, just like ruining a slide. That's how you get like actually lasered, which kind of stinks. Another kind of one-off tip: if you get shot, okay, so most characters when they get shot by heavy rounds, they get slowed. It's like bullet slow, so it doesn't affect like Caustic, Newcastle, Gibby, yeah. So it doesn't affect them, but for every other character, you get shot by heavy ammo, you're going to slow down. And it's really annoying when that happens right as you're trying to slide. And usually when I would do it, I would just keep trying to spam slide to like, just slide. It doesn't work. Just kind of run a little bit and then try sliding again. Panicking is literally the worst thing you can do in that, but that's just a little thing. Okay, but for slide fatigue, yeah, you run between 4 and 5 cycles of the hand popping up, then you can do your thing. If you have heirloom of someone, I don't know, sorry. But the same thing with jumping, right? So I could jump, that's full height, but I keep spamming jump. Oh, now I barely leave the floor. I'm not going anywhere. So that's just jump fatigue. So that kind of goes into when we're talking about wall bounces. Wall bouncing is relatively easy once you get the hang of it. So if let's say this is a big wall here, right? You slide, jump into it, and then not touching the movement stick, I just let go of it once I slide, jump into the air, and then you just hit jump again when you touch the wall. It doesn't have to be like perfect timing. Just remember, like, if you hit the stick, well, if you hold the stick forward, you can do that, which is nice. So let's say I'm trying to get over this wall and I don't want to climb it, and I want to do something cool and put it on YouTube. I could, oh, that wasn't great, but you see what I mean. You like bounce off the side, but you keep moving forward, so you get an extra height, and you don't have to mantle at all. You kind of just go right over. But if you aren't pressing anything, you'll just bounce off, you know, angle of incidence and reflection. So these walls, kind of weird. So let's say I try slide jumping or wall jumping into this, right? What was that? That was weird. It's like I mantle it, right? That's because the wall is short, so it doesn't really like... So it thinks you're trying to mantle, but really I'm trying to wall bounce, but the game has no way to tell. So the way you do it is on your movement stick, you just hold back just like very, very little. Like as little as you can for it to register, right? And when you hit the wall and you're holding back away from the wall just a little bit, it'll let you do your jump. So that like works like normal. So, I mean, if you're confident enough and it doesn't bother you to be holding back a little bit, it's kind of nice even when you're doing big walls. Just get into the habit of holding back a little bit. So it doesn't matter if you're doing a big wall, it doesn't matter if you're doing a little one. If you're always holding back, it'll always work no matter the wall height. As long as it's not like incredibly short. I don't even think you can do it on this one actually. Yeah, it has to be a little bit higher than this. But yeah, easy. I know on PC I think they could like wall bounce tap strafe to get over too, which is actually kind of cool, but I don't think you could do it here. Anyway. One fade sliding, I think it's called that because Fade, he does it a lot. That's easy. So you just holster your weapons. If I had a weapon, just keep it holstered. Crouch, move forward, uncrouch, crouch. So it's a way, it doesn't look that impressive, but it's a way to build up speed fast. So let's say like I'm in cover here and I want to get over there. Instead of like, you know, starting a run, like standing up, showing my head, and then doing my crouch, I could start from crouch behind cover, you know, move forward, and then do my thing. And I can get a lot farther that way. I don't even know if that's movement tech, really. It's just kind of like something to do. That's nice. Alright, super glides. The big kahuna everyone always wants to be able to do a super glide. It's honestly not that important. If you can't do... This is another thing. If you can't do super glides, like consistently, if you're not getting them consistently, then it's not really worth trying to do it in like comp games, you know? Okay, so that's a super glide, but I can go into this. Basically, the idea is once you mantle up, there's like a very specific moment right as you're going over the top, you want to hold both the crouch and the jump button. And if you do both at the same time, you'll do a super glide and give you some speed. But, I mean, I'm not great at it, so. But I can also explain like how to learn it, because I don't see this online too much about if you're going too early or too late. Okay, well, I'm just so good at these, I can't mess up. Alright, I'll do too late first. So that's too late. It's when it's like you just have a jump forward. That's how you know you're doing it too late. So while you're practicing, I mean, I think you should be doing, like if you're trying to practice super glides, just do it for like 30 minutes at a time. Like literally just super glides, because you got to nail in the timing in your head. But yeah, so you're jumping forward. That's too late. If you're going too early, you literally just pop a squat. You literally just sit down. That's how you know you're going too early. You're hitting the buttons. So just keep adjusting. Say, okay, that one was too late, that one was too early, and then you can like hit the timing right. I don't even know what the fuck that was. But yeah, usually when I practice, like when I'm warming up, I like to do each one of these all the way down. And then once I get to every one in a row, then I'm like, okay, I'm kind of warmed up on these. Watch, I'm never going to be able to do it now. Anyway. Super glide, easy, fun, ha. Oh, okay. So, super glide, you don't only have to go forward, right? Because when you're doing the super glides, you're like holding forward. But if you want to be crazy and you want to do some cool stuff, you can also hold different directions than forward, like diagonally or sideways. Why the fuck can't I do these now? What the hell? What the... Alright. Yeah. Anyway, doing super glides, you know, usually I've been doing them just holding forward, right? And then you could like fly forward. That's cool. But if you want to do something a little special, I think it's a bit harder. But you can also hold like a diagonal movement or like a perpendicular movement left and right instead of going straight forward. I feel like it's a nice mix in to throwing because if you see somebody coming up and they do this, like I don't know about you, but I would not be able to predict that. I'd probably just run away. I don't want to fuck with that guy. But yeah, literally, it's the same thing as a super glide. You're just holding like a direction other than forward once you make it to the top and you like start your glide and hit all your buttons. I think the timing is a little bit tougher. I don't even know if the timing is a little tougher. It's just tougher to move your like your left thumb. But that's that. It's kind of fun to practice. And now that there's like a mixtape mode, it's nice to practice that stuff in there. But again, if you can't really do these consistently, it's fine. You know, you just go up and do like a slide jump. You're not really losing that much space, and it's a lot better than, you know, imagine like you're trying to clutch as a 1v1, and your team is like, oh, he's 1 HP, and you get up and you want to super glide to the guy, and you just get up and do this. And you just get blasted for like 200 health. That's kind of embarrassing. But you can just do this. Oh shit, I messed up a slide jump. You just do that, no big deal. Who cares? But it is fun to do. So, I mean, if you want to do it, do it. Strafing. Okay, so, I mean, I don't really... oh, there's, like, edge boosting and stuff. Alright, let me restart. I'm gonna restart this. Alright. What's up, everyone? This is gonna be a little series just because I've been kind of frustrated with the videos I found online about you know, improving at Apex and movement, shooting, and like taking team fights and all that stuff. So I wanted to make one that's kind of just, you know, simple, easy. So this first one, I think we're going to talk a little bit about movement. And for context, I'm on PS5. I'm on controller, obviously, on PS5. And controller, I mean, what, it can't do tap strafing? It can do most other things that PC can do, so you don't got to worry too much. But really, honestly, as long as you're not, like, just walking around the map, you know, and you have some idea of how to move decently quickly, it's not the biggest deal. You just, like, it's something that really only shows when you're really bad at it, you know? I don't think advanced movement is too important as long as you're playing positionally sound. But it is fun to know. I mean, it makes the game more fun when you're able to do this stuff. But anyway, first, like, kind of fundamentals. I'm sure everyone knows, you know, slide jumping and all that. But, okay. And obviously everyone knows, like, dead slide. When you slide and then you try to slide again, and you're not really getting that boost that you want. So with slide fatigue, after you do a full slide, just keep an eye on the bottom, keep an eye on, like, my Watson's hands, right? So I slide, then watch the hands pop up. So you want to wait between 4 and 5 of those cycles of the hands popping up, and then you can do it again. So I think it's like a handy little timer to be, like, keeping an eye on. So I slide, 1, 2, 3, 4, slide, 1, 2, 3, 4, slide. So, I mean, you can play around and try to find the exact timing. That's just an easy way I do it, so I don't really have to worry about dead sliding. But for jumping, same type of thing happens, right? I jump, I try to jump again, I can't jump as high. I'm like jump fatigue. Now, I mean, it kind of can come in handy with like some movement tech, but it's just something to be aware of, right? But I'll try to segue into this. So wall jumps. I'm sure most people, I mean, the game's like 4 years old. Most people kind of know about wall jumps. But if not, easy, pretty easy. Slide, jump, and then just jump again. So that whole time that I'm in the air after slide jumping, so I slide and then jump. After that, I'm not holding onto the movement stick at all. I just kind of look at the wall, and then once I touch it, I just hit jump again, and then you bounce off. Easy. Now, if I wanted to do a jump where I go over this wall, right? So usually I could just mantle and that's over, but that's not really cool. You got to make it look good for your clips online. You just wall jump into this and then keep holding forward instead of letting go of the movement stick. So wall jump, hold forward, and then you can do that. Now if you're on PC, they do some cool like tap strafe over, but I mean, fuck those guys. Okay, but now see here's the doozy. If I try to wall jump off this little bit, see how it's a little shorter here? Now see what happens when I try to wall jump off. It's like you kind of stick and your character wants to mantle. So it looks really gross and it's really like junky. And the way to fix that easy, you just kind of hold slightly back away from the wall on your movement stick. And then you'll do it real clean and nice. It's pretty easy. So I mean, if you get used to it, it's really slightly back. It's just like so it barely registers. If you get used to it, it's kind of nice to just whenever you wall jump, hold slightly back. Because then you don't have to worry about if I'm doing a tall enough wall, or it's like, oh, am I gonna mantle on this one? Is it like my slide jump gonna mantle on it? If you're holding slightly back at all times, you don't really have to worry. But here's also where like the fatigue stuff comes in. So you could also wall jump, right? By just jumping straight into the wall. So watch what happens. I jump into the wall. That one's not bad, right? Why is that? It kicked me straight down. And this is a little weird, right? So if I jump on the wall, sometimes it gives me a good bounce, and then sometimes it like shoots me down like that. And it's just like one of those things you got to get used to with the timing. So what I like thinking is, if I jump without sliding or anything, if I jump and I hit the wall like kind of on the way down, not too low, but if I hit it kind of on the way down, I'll get that full bounce, you know, the healthy like arc in the air, which is nice. If I jump in like this, like very fast, like on the way up or at the very top of the apex of the jump, and I hit it, oh fuck, what the hell is that? Why did I not? There we go. If I... What the... Yeah, see, it like shoots you down, or shoots you up. Oh, actually, this segues. Why did that one just shoot me up? That seemed kind of weird, right? Remember we talked about jump fatigue, right? If I jump, right, and now I'm jump fatigued. See this? I can't jump very high. But I jump into a wall after being jump fatigued and try to wall bounce, it'll give me the healthy one. So think about it like that. If you're fatigued and next to a wall, it doesn't matter. Just like jump straight into it and it'll give you the bounce. Which is kind of cool. It's kind of weird to think about, that being fatigued can actually help you with your wall bounces. But let's say like you're running away from somebody, you slide jump like, oh fuck, I missed the wall. Wait, let me do that a little better so it doesn't look like I'm an idiot. Right? And now I can get a jump. So like, let's say a slide jump, well, that was so early, what the hell? I have to do it before my fatigue goes away. That was so early, what the hell? Whatever. But you get what I'm saying, even though I'm not, like, I'm just warming up, bro. But yeah, that's about it for wall jumps. They're cool to throw in. I think if they're fun to do in fights. Without like tap strafing, you can't really move too aggressively off it, and sometimes it's easy for people to track if you're just kind of bouncing, you know? Like it's a nice arc. It's like when you see an Octane or a Pathy like coming on their pad or coming off their zip towards you. Usually there's pretty easy shots because they're just like it's an arc. It's something you can predict easily. But like doing it around a corner is cool. And there are certain situations where I like doing it, like they really don't expect it. But yeah, fun to do. All right, now we can talk about the super glides. Everyone's favorite. Everyone always wants to do a super glide. Yeah. I really don't think they're too important. Like if you can't do super glides, big deal. It doesn't really matter, unless you're trying to look cool for like YouTube clips or something. But you know, easy. Climb up at a special time. You hold the crouch and the jump button, and then you super glide. Once you get the timing down, it's really not bad. Especially if you're on console. Was it 60 frames per second it's running at? So if it's a frame window, that's 1/60 of the second, which sounds like it's really hard, but I mean, they just like spend 15 minutes before playing, like 30 minutes if you're like really struggling, and it's really not hard to get down. But anyway, even if it is, no big deal. Like don't worry about it. You can just like when you climb up, instead of trying to force a slide or a super glide, just slide jump. Like you see, you still get good speed. It's like might be a little easier to track, but it's really not that bad. You're still going fast. But anyway, when you're working on super glides, number one is just, I haven't seen many people talk about it, when you know if you're going too late or when you're going too early. Because when I was first trying this, I was like, I have no idea why I'm not hitting it. I don't know if I'm going too early or too late. And it being a one frame window, it's kind of hard sometimes to tell because it doesn't sometimes feel as though you're doing it too late or too early. So anyway, if you're doing it too late, you'll do a jump forward like that. You're not going to get a super glide, because you'll know when you get a super glide, because you get yossed. But it's just a little jump, like, kind of forward, which is a little lame. So if you see that happening, you're like, okay, now I'm going to hit the crouch and jump buttons a little bit earlier next time. If you're going too early, you'll just pop a squat. Oh, what? That was too late. If you're going too early, you'll just sit down like this. You'll literally get to the top, and your guy will just sit down. And that's how you know you're going too early. So just keep those two things in mind, right? If I'm popping a squat right here, if I'm just sitting down, all right, that's way too early. Got to do it a little later. And then next time, if you do it, like, and you just do a short hop, that's a little too late. So just, like, account for it and change it up. So that was too late. What the fuck? That was too late. Too late? Too late? Alright, let's redo that. So, alright, so now, like, for example, that's a super glide, right? Too early. Too late? Too late? Too late? Too late? Jesus Christ. Alright, so, for example, right? Super glide. Nice, good timing. Too late. Or too early. Too late. And then too late. Alright, let's do it one more time. Super glide, right? Too late. Too late. Let's see, too early. Too early. Super glide. Nice. Now, if that's not enough and you want to be even cooler, you could also... So, when you do the super glide, right, you're holding forward. You're holding forwards to do it. To, like, super glide forwards. But you don't have to do that. You could be holding, like, left or right, diagonally, right? Which I think is a cool mix-in if you're able to do it consistently. Like, imagine in a fight, some guy's climbing up on you, and then suddenly once he finishes the mantle, he just flies to the right. That's kind of crazy. I wouldn't want to be fighting that guy. But yeah, let's see how this looks. All right. All right, let's see. Hey everybody. So lately I've been trying to kind of watch Apex YouTube tutorials, and they've kind of been frustrating because I don't think they've been getting around to the point or explaining things well enough. So I thought I'd kind of just, in my years of experience, go over some things that I've learned. Hopefully they're helpful. Not try to be gimmicky at all, you know, just make it easy. Hopefully it helps someone. But I was going to start doing like a little series about it. Anyway, so for the first one I kind of wanted to talk about movement, which everyone wants to have cool movement, but for context, I'm on PlayStation, obviously using a controller. Movement's not like a huge part of my game. I don't really use it too much, otherwise, like, I mean, maybe a little bit because it's fun, you know? You use it because it's fun, to throw into fights, really cool. But I think as long as you're halfway decent, and you play, like, positionally sound, and you're not, like, you know, just wandering around the map, like, super slow, just, like, looking around, it's not huge. But it is nice to know. It's nice to have, I guess. So starting with basics, right? Actually, before that, I'll kind of go into like just really quickly what I think is important to have, like settings wise for this stuff. Uh, Auto sprint on. I mean, just have it on. It makes everything a lot easier, not having to jam your movement stick, your left stick all the time. Helps your controller out, so it's not like crying every time you play it. It doesn't die in 3 months. So just have it on. You really want to be sprinting all the time. Auto cycle and empty. I have this off. Maybe this is a personal thing, but it like would frustrate me if I was running out of ammo in a fight and it would automatically switch after I already hit the switch weapon button. So I'd like double switching back to the empty gun. So I turn that off. Taking damage closes death box. This is like a separate thing, but have this off. So let's say you're trying to have a shield swap in the middle of like, last fight in the last ring, and somebody shoots you and it closes as you're trying to get the shield swap off. That's very annoying. So, I mean, if you have a reaction time fast enough to react to someone when someone's shooting you, just have it off. But for movement specific, crouch, have that on hold. Makes it a lot easier, right? If I'm like strafing, I can do it a lot easier. A half button press to go down, just let go to go back up, But like compare that to toggle. I don't know. It's a lot like, it doesn't feel nice. It might feel weird at first, but trust, hold is a lot better. All the other stuff, easy. I won't go into sensitivity, doesn't matter. Alright, movement. So very simple, easy. Slide, you hold the slide button, slide. Jump, you hold the jump button. But let's say I'm sliding, right? That's a good slide. Oh no, look how short I'm going on these slides now. Slide fatigue, not fun, dead sliding, the worst, really frustrating. But the way I kind of alleviate it here is that, okay, keep an eye on the bottom of the screen, keep an eye on Watson's hands as I slide, right? So I slide, 1, 2, 3, 4, the hands pop up. See, you can count them. So full slide, 1, 2, 3, 4, slide, 1, 2, 3, 4, slide. So it's usually, it's like between 4 or 5 of the hands bobbing up that you can slide again and not have to worry about dead sliding. I wouldn't say it's foolproof, but it's kind of just like a good indicator to have in mind. If you have an heirloom, like, I don't know. There's probably a different video about that. But that's really all I got to say. All right, jumping, same thing, jump fatigue, right? After I do my first big jump, I have a bunch of little baby jumps. I can't jump as high anymore. But this is a good segue, so keep that in mind while I talk about wall bounces, right? Wall bounces are pretty easy. I mean, the game's been like 4 years old. I'm sure everyone has a pretty good idea of how to wall bounce, but if you don't, no biggie. Here we go. Slide into it, and then just jump. So when you're sliding, you slide, jump, and as you hit the wall, you're not touching the movement stick at all. You're just looking at the wall. Don't touch literally anything else. Just hit the jump button, and you'll bounce off it. Timing doesn't have to be perfect either. It's kind of generous. But that's like the most basic wall bounce you could do. Let's say I want to get over this wall, right? So like this kind of shorter area here, if I want to get over it, I could bounce on this wall, but instead I could hold forward as I hit the wall instead of holding nothing. So it's the two inputs are jump and hold forward right as I hit the wall. And what that does is it allows me to get over the wall without having to like mantle it. So let's say somebody's shooting you behind, if somebody's mantling right in front of you, you'll probably spray him for like 150 damage at least, like you should be. You could probably knock that guy. But with a wall bounce to, holding forward, getting over without mantling makes you a little harder to hit. Let's see. Okay, now, so this was a big wall I was bouncing off. Let's say I want to bounce off this little tiny wall. Let's try it out. That sucked. You see how I kind of grip and attach to it? That's because it thinks my character wants to mantle, It wants to do one of these and it wants to hang out, which I don't think anyone's ever done, ever. But it's pretty easy to avoid that. So all you have to do is the difference between wall bounce on a big wall and a small wall is just very slightly hold back on the movement stick. Instead of holding nothing on the movement stick, just very slightly backwards away from the wall when you hit it. And all that does is allows your character not to stick and mantle, and it just gives you a normal wall bounce. Now, if that doesn't bother you to hold back just very slightly, then just do it on all walls, because then you don't have to think like, oh, is this wall tall enough so I don't have to, hold back on the stick or what? But be careful not to hold too much back, because then you'll start doing stuff like that. You'll start especially with Horizon, I noticed when I was playing Horizon a good amount, because of her air control, it's less generous about this stuff. Actually, I'm actually kind of curious. I want to try out. Where is she? Oh yeah.
I'm back, dears. I guess it was only a flesh wound.
Because she can like stop so much faster in air, you know, and she could like move around and all that stuff. It kind of makes it a little bit, you know, you have to very slightly hold it. But I mean, it's not too bad. Again, it's all just like practice once you get used to it. Big deal.
Good to be back.
But yeah, let's see. Anything else? Oh yeah. Okay. Remember we talked about how jumping, you have jump fatigue, right? Kind of seems like shit that it wouldn't be useless, but it is useful. So let's say, oh, I'm too close to this wall. How am I going to wall bounce off of it, right? If I jump into the wall and I just try to bounce, it pushes me down, which is, I mean, I don't think that's too helpful. Maybe I could slide out of it. That'd be cool. But usually I don't like getting like shot down like that. But let's say I jump into the wall. Let's say I jump into the wall like on the way down, right? And I catch it at the right time. I usually don't do this, so I'm not very good at it. Right? But you see that gave me like a healthy, like a full arc bounce. So I don't have to slide or anything. I just have to catch it as I'm like falling down off a jump. And it'll give me a nice, like a good bounce. So you don't necessarily need to slide jump in. But let's say I try to slide jump in and I fuck it up. And I'm too short and I'm fatigued. But wait, did you see how, like I just jumped straight into that wall from right here when fatigued and it gave me a massive bounce out. So weirdly, if you're trying to wall bounce and you're fatigued, it'll give you that full, like really nice wall bounce. Even though like I'm only jumping like an inch off the floor, it gives me the full wall bounce. What the fuck was that? But that's just kind of good to know. So let's say like you're jammed up in a corner with a guy and you're like jumping around and he's shooting at you and stuff. If I just go like this, I can get out of there really fast and create a lot of momentum or a lot of velocity like instantly, you know? It's all like these little things you just kind of like use in a fight. But I think that's pretty useful. But yeah, that's all I got to say about wall stuff. I won't say any more about wall stuff. Now we go to the big boy stuff. Let's do super glides. Holy shit, super glides. You gotta be the coolest guy on earth if you want to hit one of these. But very easy. You climb up. There's a special time right as you're mantling over the edge of something, right? You hit crouch and you hit jump at the same time. So make sure when you do button mappings, if you want to do slide jumping, right? If it's important to you to be able to slide jump, make sure you can hit both of those at the same time. Or else you're gonna have a tough time doing slide jumps. Or super glides. Oh, I'm so fucking stupid. Super glides. Right? That's it. So there's a special time right as you go up. You just hit both of those inputs and you super glide forward. So, like that was a failed one. But let's see why it failed, right? And I don't see too many people talking about it online, and it was frustrating me when I was learning them. Like, why is this not working? I can't tell. Because, okay, if you're on console, you have 60 frames per second, right? And I think it's like a frame perfect trick. So that's 1/60th of a second you have to like hit the inputs. So if you don't know if you're a little too early or too late, it's hard to tell. But here we go. So if that was a super glide, all right. I have to force myself to fuck it up. I'm so good at these. Those are all super glides. That's too late. Do you see how, like, instead of, like, getting flung and you see the FOV change, I just kind of did, like, a little hop right to the middle? That means I was doing it too late. I was hitting the buttons too late. Oh my god, I keep hitting all the super glides. I'm trying not to, I promise. Again, too late. That one was too late. It's just a short hop. It's pretty easy to tell, especially considering this is what it looks like when you do it too early. You just, like, literally sit down. It's stupid lame. Oh my god. Too late. Let's do... Too early, I'm sorry. Perfect. Too early. Too late. That was a good one. I don't know why the fuck I just like attached to that. Too late. Too early. Too late. That was super glide. So literally, I mean, you'll get so much more out of the practice if you just keep those three scenarios in mind. You know, that was a good super glide. That was too late. That was too early. And literally every time you do it, you just kind of like micro adjust the timing, and you'll pick it up so much faster rather than just kind of aim it, like shooting in the dark, hoping for a super glide and being like, wait, how did I just do that? You know, intelligent training practice. You know, don't just like passively do it. Just being like, pay attention to why you're messing up, and you'll get a lot better, a lot faster. Another easy one to take a break after that, edge sliding. So if I'm sliding off of a ledge, right, I just, you know, normally slide off. But if you start sliding right on the edge as you do it, you get a little boost forward. And you go farther. Not like crazy difference, but I mean, it's just like little things. Like knowing these little things are what, if you're trying to like run away from a squad or something, right? It's just good. It'll give you a little extra boost. But that one's really easy. You can do that in your sleep. Let's see, what else do I want to talk about? I guess, yeah, let's do strafing, right? In fights, strafing is big. Let's say I'm trying to fight this guy, right? I could strafe like this, that's fine. Right? Let me kick him around. But really, the key is to strafe, and in a fight in general, you want to act like a crackhead. You want to be cracked out of your mind. You know, you got to do like weird stuff. The hardest people to track are the ones that like are like actually bugging out, because they do things you'll never expect. Anyway, usually when I strafe, if I'm in a close range one, you know, I kind of just bob around, and when I'm reloading, I move my character model so he's looking in all different places as I'm reloading. So let's say reload, go like this, red done. Oh, I gotta reload. Again. If you're struggling with like keeping the what is it called? The reticle on the guy, you know, you don't need to really crouch as much. Just kind of shoot at him. I like throwing a crouch in every now and then. Unless they're like literally shooting at your chest, you'll crouch, and they'll just start you'll give them headshots. So not ideal. Let me restart. All right. So strafing. Let's talk about strafing. There are lots of ways you do it. I don't think like there's only like a wrong way basically. You know, if I'm going into a fight, don't get beat up. That's not really going to help you. The guy's going to have the time of his life shooting you. Usually, I just kind of go back and forth. For close range fights, you can do a little bit of a shorter strafe. Don't do too short, right? Because they won't even need to move. They can just shoot straight, and they'll hit you if you're strafing that short. But it's kind of just like, you know, you kind of feel it. Just do weird stuff. The way I like to think of it is, like, the hardest people to hit are the ones that are acting like the most cracked out. You gotta be the biggest crackhead on the map. You know, because if you're doing weird shit, like how are you supposed to predict it? You know, that's the hard stuff. But yeah, so at close range you can do shorter strafes, not too short. And another thing is, don't just spam your crouch button. I'm not really crouching. If you were watching me in third person right now, I'm literally just like, I don't even know what this looks like, but you're not crouching. You gotta wait till your character model actually goes down, and then it'll like actually crouch. For long range, right? I see a lot of people do this, and this is not what we want to do. You don't do the same strafe long range as you do short range, right? You don't do this like back and forth like little tiny one. Because at longer ranges, this difference is like lessened. So if this guy's having a gun looking at me and I'm doing the short strafe, he barely has to look left and right. Right? But at longer range, you're free to do these like longer sweeping strafes. And this is what's going to make them actually have to move their gun and track you, which is a lot harder than just, you know, like wiggle, hope aim assist kind of helps you out. But yeah, longer range, longer strafes, short range, you're free to do shorter strafes. Again, I'd toss in some crouches. If you were running from a sniper, right? Let's say this dummy over here has a sniper. I guess it's not really a strafe, but I mean, I use the Sentinel a lot because I think it's fun. But when I see somebody running and I see them jump, I will always like take a shot at them, because it's so easy to predict the movement of somebody that's jumping. You know, if they're jumping like that, it's like watching somebody on an octane pad. You can like, you can trace their path so easily. So I think maybe not at lower level lobbies, but if you're at like higher level lobbies, you gotta act more like a crackhead. And just like jumping to try to avoid something is usually gonna beat you up if they have an open shot at you. Like, I love it when they jump. What's harder to hit is when they keep doing this. Like, so let's say this guy over here is the sniper. I'm like, oh, am I going forward? Oh, yeah. But then I like take a step back. It's not about getting to cover as safe as possible. It's about like bugging out on the way towards that cover, you know? At least in my experience. But yeah, I think that's pretty good for strafes. Don't sacrifice like your aim on strafes, right? If I'm going like this, like that's awesome. Like that's cool. I'm hard to hit. I didn't hit it like a single shot of this guy. Oh, I did 10 damage. Your teammates are gonna shoot you in the head. They're gonna be pissed off. Don't do that. But yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention also about super glides. Usually you hold forward. You don't necessarily have to. So you can hold like different directions, like diagonally or like straight to the left or right, and you can super glide in that direction, which I think is a really fun mix-up in a fight. If you could do that, I think it's really cool. I think it's harder to hit though. I don't know why I struggle so much, but there you go. So you can do that. Imagine like a guy climbing and then he just like shoots 600 miles an hour to like the right side or left side. That's pretty cool. Why can't I hit these? See, look guys, I'm not great at this either. I'm just trying to share my knowledge. I can't hit shit. Oh my god. There we go. But you do diagonal, do any way you want. This is bunny hopping. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Hold crouch, hit jump. Every time you hit the floor, you'll keep your momentum, which is nice. If you're bunny hopping as like Horizon.
Back from a wee kip.
Well, first of all, let's see this. If I'm bunny hopping, right, and I try to take a corner really hard like this, oh fuck, I'm Horizon. Well, look, okay, let's do it as Watson, right? I'm bunny hopping, and I try to turn. You know, it doesn't work. You like lose all your momentum because I'm taking the turn too sharp. Right? Now, if I'm playing Horizon, if I'm playing Horizon, Horizon's passive allows her to take the corners a lot more sharply, so I'm able to, you know, sometimes take that directions that I otherwise wouldn't be able to with other characters, which is actually nice. She's a lot of fun to play. I think this is 90%. Her passive is what makes her fun to play, in my opinion. But yeah. That's all I gotta say about bunny hops. Nothing too crazy.
I feel recharged.
Okay. Fuck zipline movement, bro. So on controller, maybe this is just my opinion. You know, if you love ziplines, go for it. You know, do all that stuff. But people do the ones where it's like, what is it? Like this, and then you like re-zip onto it. Unless you're living in streamer building, or you're just like living in buildings with ziplines, I really don't think it's worth it to do that stuff. Especially because, okay, I play on a relatively low sensitivity. You know, like this is my hip, and this is me like turning around and stuff. My pitch, you know, and look, like ADSing, it's pretty slow. Especially the pitch on ADS is very slow. So in order to do this like zip and then re-grab, I don't even think it's like physically possible to turn around in that time for me. But it really doesn't matter. At least for me, for the way I play, like I don't really care so much. I'm not going to sacrifice like the hip fire speed I like just to do this stuff. What I will say, you'd have zip, what is it, the super jumps or whatever they are. But those are pretty easy. Am I even getting that? But yeah, you just grab on and... Okay. Let me restart. Alright, zipline stuff. I don't really use too much zipline stuff because I don't really... Well, I'll explain it actually. Where the hell is Pathfinder? Okay.
I have come to save the day. Maybe.
Wait, let me do this and then restart.
Zipline time.
Alright, squad. Alright, let's do ziplines a little bit. I don't really know too much zipline tech because I don't really care. I think I can go through like two main ones, right? So the first one is like the super jump off it. So off this. I don't even, is that what it's called? It doesn't matter. Who cares what it's called? But you just kind of grab and then immediately jump off, right? But I'm spamming the jump button and you get like extra speed. So like that, you see? So the before was a normal jump off, but if I grab it and then I just spam my jump button, you have to do it really fast. It's actually kind of hard. You'll get like this double boost and you'll go very far. But you can tell immediately when you get it. When you're running from a team, I think it's nice. Or when you're just trying to move, you're playing like Control on Lava Siphon. I use it a lot to try to get through like the lava bits. But that's it. It's very easy. Now here's the super jump, like vertically. Same idea. You just grab and then double jump. But this time you go straight up. So if you're a Pathy and you're in a fight, it's actually kind of nice. You just like yoss this around, you're like going freaking nuts. But again, you have to hit this so fast. I just have like old man fingers, so I can't do it. But yeah, pretty fun. Also, when you're, I mean, I think most people know, but when you're riding a zip, you could only re-grab 3 times. So you're riding a zip, you're getting shot in the back, so you keep doing this. I can't do it again until I hit the ground. Right? 1, 2, 3. I can't do it, now I can. Can't do it, now I can, because I hit the ground. But just something to keep in mind. Because, like, if you don't want to be the person that doesn't know that, and they learn it at the wrong time, and they fall into, like, a big fucking valley, or off the map or something. Not ideal. But yeah, I think that's it for zips. Alright, I think that's it. I'm gonna try to do more on like team fights.
I feel recharged. Adding a bit of je ne sais quoi.
Alright, what's up everyone? I'm gonna do a quick video. I was thinking of starting a little series to help people out with some fundamental Apex stuff that I wish more people did better videos on, because a lot of the stuff I find is either wrong, or it's just not very helpful, or it's too confusing, or there's too much padding, or it's just like people talking for the sake of talking. So I wanted to do a quick little series about stuff like fighting, moving, loadouts, team composition, all that stuff, if you're trying to get a little bit better, and just things I've learned. So first, I was just going to do a quick one on movement. Now with movement, I don't think it's really the biggest deal if you don't have like this sophisticated move. You can't hit your super glides, you're not wall bouncing everywhere all across the map. I'm on PC, or no, I'm on PS5. I'm using a controller, obviously, and like, you know, I'm not tap strafing, I'm not going crazy, but I don't really miss it. You know, aim assist is nice. But you don't really need it. You know, just look at like the comp scene. A lot of people are on controller today, you know, just because they have such an advantage close range with these close range fights. You're not really missing the tap strafe. At least I'm not either. Anyway, fundamental stuff. Sliding, slide, jumping, jump, easy. In terms of assignments for this stuff, how do I get to settings? Okay. Just really quick, because I don't really want to go through all of my settings, because it's not really important. Everyone just like kind of do your own thing. Auto sprint's on. I think that should be on. Unless you're like a multi-billionaire and you're fine like buying a controller every week, because you're jamming the sprint button at all times and you like have a bionic thumb. Just have it on. You don't have to worry about that stuff. It's nice. I have weapon auto cycle and empty off, because it pisses me off if I'm in a fight and I run out of ammo and it switches the gun for me, even after I've hit the switch gun button, and I switch back to the empty gun. That makes me angry. So I just turn it off. Taking damage closes death box. I turn it off because, let's say, you know, it's final ring, 2 squads left, and you're trying to get a shield swap off of a box next to you, and they shoot you, or you're inside a thermite or something, and it keeps closing the box for you. That sucks. Most people can tell when they're being shot, even when looting, and you have a quick enough reaction time to not take a ton of damage. Just turn it off. Makes my life easier. The only other thing I'd say, I won't go into button layout, because everyone, do whatever works for you. There's a actual billion videos on this, but I mean, maybe at some point I'll show it, but not now. Crouch button, have that to hold, right? Half button press to crouch, and then just let go to uncrouch. And that allows you to do like a nice strafe. Like, it's fast, it's not annoying. If it's on toggle, it's like your day job. You just got to be like spamming this every time you're in a fight, which screws up your movement. It'll screw up like your aim, I think. Just having that finger constantly hitting that, not stupid, annoying. But I mean, hey, you do you if you're all for it. I mean, it's a little bit weird at first, but once I got used to it, this is so much better. I love it. But that's really it. Okay, so first thing, sliding, jumping, right? But let's say I try to slide too much, too fast. Oh shit, these slides suck. I'm not going very far at all. I'm dead sliding. Nothing you can really do about that, just don't slide so fast. And the way I keep track of it is, okay, so when I'm running here, keep an eye on Watson Sands. See how they pop up? Like 1, 2, they both pop up. So when I slide, I'll start counting the hands so I know when to slide again. So usually I slide and then count 1, 2, 3, 4, slide, 1, 2, 3, 4, slide. It doesn't always work. It's a little bit more in depth than that, but I just use it as an indicator to like minimize the amount of dead sliding. It's just really annoying when it happens. But if you just like subconsciously keep an eye on the hands, 1, 2, 3, 4, you're good. Okay. Now the same thing also, by the way, happens with jumping. So you're gonna like get fatigued when you jump. You have jump fatigue. But I'll get more into that. Anyway, okay, easy. 101, wall bounce. Slide jump into a wall, let go of literally everything, and then when you hit the wall, just jump. Oh, that's so clean. That's so nice. It's easy. Once you get used to it, honestly, I mean, everyone struggles at first with it. But yeah, you literally let go of everything, let go of the movement stick, let go of crouch after you jump into it, and then you just hit jump. Now, let's say instead of jumping backwards off the wall, I want to jump forwards, like to get over this little gap here. So instead of letting go of the movement stick, the two inputs are holding forward on the movement stick and hitting jump when I hit the wall. So just like that. And I mean, that's kind of nice because let's say like there's a guy back here like shooting at me. If you climb up this way, this guy's going to blast you. If he's halfway decent, like he's going to actually destroy you if you just climb up like that. You'd probably be dead before you can get over it. So doing like the little forward, I think I mantled on that. Whoops. But doing the little hold forward kind of action just kind of makes it a little bit harder for you to hit. You're moving kind of weird. But that's it. But let's say you're trying to wall jump off a short wall like this. Let's see what happens here. What the hell? Your guy mantles. So you see I kind of did that mistake before when I was trying to jump forward. If you try to wall bounce without hitting anything on these small ones, your guy, like the action of mantling the wall like overrides the wall bounce command. So all you have to do to fix that is hold slightly back on your movement stick, slightly away from the wall. So now, the input is just jump and holding slightly back, and you'll do like a typical wall bounce. So holding slightly back basically tells the game, hey, I don't want to mantle, like get that shit out. If it doesn't bother you to hold slightly back, I like holding slightly back whenever I do any wall bounce, even if it's on a big wall, so I don't really need to think about, is this wall too short, am I going to mantle it? I'm just always holding slightly back. I don't have to worry about it. But yeah, that's like the basics for wall bouncing. I will say also, you don't need a slide jump into it. Let's say you're just kind of up next to a wall and I jump into it. That's not pretty, right? It just shot me like straight down. Or like diagonally down. Which if I'm fighting, and I jump into a wall, maybe I could slide out of it, shoot around a little bit. It builds up speed nicely, which is nice. But there's a better way that I usually like doing it. If I just jump into a wall and I get it on the way down, right? The timing is a little weird. I just recommend practicing. But if I get onto it on the way down, it'll give me like a nice little bounce off and not like a directly diagonally straight into the dirt. So you don't need a slide jump, just jump into it. But if I jump into it and I do it and I hit it like on the apex or on the upward part of the jump, it'll just shoot me diagonally down. So there's like a sweet spot to get the nice bounce off. But that's not the only thing. So remember I was talking about fatigues, when I get jump and I have jump fatigue. It actually can be useful in times like this. So let's say I'm fighting a guy and I jump and I'm fatigued, right? If I jump into the wall and immediately bounce off it while I'm fatigued, while I have jump fatigue, it'll give me that full bounce, which is kind of counterintuitive. It's kind of weird, right? I jump, I waste it, I'm fatigued now. Let me not fuck it up. But I get that full bounce. So it is kind of, I like this a lot while I'm like fighting, and you throw a jump in there, and then you get a full bounce off the wall, and you can get out of there, or you can have a completely new angle. I find it useful. But I think that's the main things. So you can jump, either slide jump into it, get the full bounce, right? You can do a late jump into it and get the full bounce, or you can be fatigued and jump into it and get the full bounce. So just practice it. You'll get the different flavors of it. Easy enough. It's not bad. All right, let's do zip lines a little bit. I don't really think zipline movement is too important unless you're like living in streamer building, or like I mean, I don't know. I'm on controller. You know, movement's not the forte here. But there are a couple things that I think are fun. For a zipline here, if you attach to it, so for me it's square and then X for jump, or X is ping. But I hit my jump button, right? You do a little jump like that, which is kind of dinky, whatever. But if I spam jump, and I mean like spam it, you gotta do it fast. Let's see if I can get it. See, I'm not spamming it fast enough. I'm not a good spammer, but that's it. See how high I went suddenly? That's what we call the zip super jump. But it is, like, I'm fucking trash, dude. I cannot do it consistently. But if you do it, or if you're capable of spam jumping better than me, you can do that. And it's really nice if you're like a pathy or something, and you have this in a fight, and you can just like kind of jump around and do crazy stuff. Very fun. Same kind of idea for vertical zips, right? Now, in this case, it'll launch me forward more. So that was not it, right? Let me just stand and do it. So this is what a normal one looks like, right? That's like a normal launch. But if I get the one where I like spam the shit out of it, you see how much farther I go? Like, I mean, that's pretty obvious. You go way farther. But yeah, don't feel too bad about it if you like don't have the spam fingers for it. So I don't really go on zips that much. Like, let's say you're going on a vertical zip, right? People also talk about the like re-grab. So it's like you zip and then you turn around and you grab it again and you go up and you're like bouncing all over the fucking place. Honestly, I think my sensitivity is too low to even allow that, because I enjoy playing on like a lower sensitivity. So like if I try to re-grab, I don't even think I can. You know, my guy just doesn't turn around fast enough after jumping off the zip to hit it again. But don't even worry about it. If I'm going on like one of the balloons, let's say I'm on World's Edge, you don't really need to do that. Just like spin around when you're going up it. It's not like the best, but at least it hides your guy a little bit. It makes it a little bit harder to hit for a charge rifle or something. Don't just like go up and like this. Like, hi, as the guy like sprays you for 600. Just spin. Make it a little bit harder. But that's it for zips. Fuck zips. Don't matter. It's not worth, at least in my opinion, unless you're playing like cracked out Sens. Like, it's not worth it. Alright, but let's do super glides. Everyone wants to be a super glide guy, you know? They're really not that bad. I'm sure you probably kind of know the rules for it. You climb up a specific time in the mantle, you hit crouch, and you hit jump, and then you'll do a super glide. So on console, I'm trying to, what is it, like running at 60 frames per second, right? So that means I think it's a frame perfect trick, so you have 1/60th of a second to hit the inputs correctly. Of course, right now I'm shitting the bed, and it looked like I've never hit a super glide in my life. Alright, I'm gonna restart this segment. Alright, let's talk about super glides a little bit. Right? Everyone wants to be able to do the cool little super glide. It's just, you climb up a specific time in the mantle right as you're getting onto the top of this edge. You hit crouch, you hit jump. Cool, easy. And when you do that, you super glide. If I can do it. Let's see. Whatever, I have a different segment, I'll do the super glide. Actually, let me try one more time. Alright, super glides. Easy peasy. Everyone wants to be able to do the super glide. You gotta look good on your Twitch clips. You gotta look good on your YouTube. Everyone's always telling me, they're always asking me, they're coming up there on the street, you know, they're saying, please teach me the super glide. I want to be as cool as you. And I say, look man, super gliding is easy. You just climb up here, you hit crouch and you hit jump at the same time, and then you do your little super glide. Whoa, look how cool I am. It's really not bad once you get the hang of it, but it's one of those things like, I haven't been practicing these in a couple days, and you lose it really fast if you don't just like consistently practice it. So what I recommend is when you're doing a warm-up, you know, you come into the range, you do a little warm-up, just like spend like 5 minutes just ripping super glides so you get used to it. But anyway, the way to tell if you do it, first of all, is like you get the FOV. You see how it kind of slides out a little bit? And you get launched also. It's very easy to tell because you get fucking launched. But anyway, if you're missing it, right? And this is something that actually, the main reason for like starting a series like this is I can't tell, like, when I was learning, am I doing it too early, am I doing it too late? It's just not working and I can't tell what I'm doing wrong, you know? And it's 1/60th of a second, right? So it's hard to tell, you know, just by looking at video and comparing it to how you're doing it, if you're a little too early or too late. So this is what I found, is that when you're doing it too late, you do a short hop like that, right? Instead of the super glide that launches you, you just kind of like get launched a little bit. You just do like a little short hop. If you're doing it too early, well, that was a super glide. If you're doing it too early, you just sit down. You like get to the top, you're excited. Oh, I'm going to do a super glide. Nope, you just sit down. So what I can say is when you're practicing it, just keep those in mind. If you're doing a short hop, say, okay, next time I'm going to do it a little bit earlier. And if you're just, you know, getting up and taking a seat, say, okay, that was too early. I'm going to do it a little bit later next time. And just keep it in mind, and you'll improve so much faster than if you just, if you're just randomly doing it and like hoping, like, oh, I hope I get a super glide this time. Just like be aware, you know, improve each time. But that's not the only thing you can do. So with super glides, you know, usually you do them forward, but you can also do it in a direction diagonally, or like perpendicular to the way you're climbing. I think this is harder. I'm not really good at it. Like you're gonna watch me fail like 600 times in a row right here. Just because you have to like, all you're doing is the same inputs, except your left stick, your movement stick, you're like kind of flipping out to the side. So like that's it. But imagine you're doing that in a fight, right? Imagine some dude's just climbing right on you, and then he suddenly just like 600 miles an hour flings himself to the right or left. That's sick as hell. That's gonna look good on your YouTube. But yeah, I think it's harder. But I mean, I practice it. It's fun. But the last thing I want to say about super glides is, if you're not able to do it consistently, it's fine. You know, it's not a big deal. You can get up and you can do a slide jump. You know, how much time am I really losing doing a slide jump? You're still going pretty fast. It's not going to hurt. The thing that does hurt, let's say you're playing with your 3-stack, your buddies, and they're both down. It's a 1v1, and you want to like stunt on them. They're both spectating you. You're like, oh, I'm going to super glide on this guy. I'm going to finish him. And you get up and you do this. And then he Krabers you to the head and you explode into a pink mist. Like, it's just embarrassing, you know? Don't do it unless you're confident with it. It's not a big deal if you get up and you just do your slides instead. You know, you're not losing that much. Just whatever you're comfortable with, I think, is the key. But that's basically it. I think that's really all the movement that I really wanted to talk about. I could go a little bit more into like edge boosting and like a fade, what is it called? Like a thing like that. But it's not really worth it. I just wanted to do a quick little one, not take up too much time, and actually do talk about the things that I've noticed that I found helpful and that I try to use most of the time in my games. But yeah, let me know if there's anything else or anything you wish you saw or want to talk more about. I'm happy to do it. You know, I'm just a guy. I'm just chilling. Let me fuck this guy up. Watch this. Move it up. I like just coming here and just watching this guy slowly die. Anyway. But yeah, let me know if there's anything else. I'll try to put out another video. I think next time I'm going to do like team composition or something. Or weapons. Or training. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But it'll be fun. It'll be really short and easy. Hopefully it's useful. But alright. Thanks guys.